Now, you're one of many thousands of people gathered here today. Concorde, of course, you haven't travelled on it yourself. The people who use it are, by and large, celebrities, business people. Why is it so much a people's plane as well? Why has it captured the imagination over the decades?
I think, again, it's the technology, the speed involved, the unbelievable rate that it can get from the UK to New York. It's a fascinating thing. The price is what's precluded people, I think, normal people from travelling on it. But it's still a fascinating device. It's something that gets to your blood.
And despite the commercial reasons we've heard, do you think it was the wrong decision to ground Concorde?
Oh, I think it definitely was. I think it would have gone on for many years to come. The technology is still there to keep the thing flying. I think it would have gone on.
What is the pilot doing now? We hear the thunderous noise if you're standing by the side of the runway. Do you feel that thunderous noise in the cockpit?
You feel, rather than hear, the thunderous noise. That marvellous sensation as you open the throttles and the power bites, the reheats light, acceleration to begin with, not that fast. Then by the time you're doing 10, 20, 30 knots, acceleration builds. It's one of those sensations which always cause the thrill.
Was that almost the most exhilarating part of it, or was it when you kind of went through the sound barrier?
Oh, it was all exhilarating. I don't think I can put the exhilarations in any form of order. Maybe one day the takeoff, but certainly the first time through the sound barrier, my goodness me, that was thrilling. I was breaking new territory. We'd always been fearful of getting anywhere near Mach 1, the sound barrier, in a VC-10. And here was an aeroplane that was being specifically built to do it, and did it with supreme ease.
And I wonder whether it's just getting ready there now to do that. It's just moving out of camera shot, the Concorde. There it is. Just getting. Is it on the runway now? Is it getting clear?
No, it's still on a taxiway and making its way possibly to 3-1 left, the left hand of the two northwest facing runways. It's difficult to see from that picture.
Well, she's getting ready to go.
Colin Morris, former Concorde pilot, alongside me. Colin.
Mike obviously wants to coordinate his takeoff time with arriving in London, coordinated with the other aircraft. And for a transatlantic crossing, he won't be looking at huge reserves of fuel. So maybe he'll be making sure he doesn't take off too early and not have enough fuel to hang about at the London end. But it looks as though he's taxiing out to line up on 31 left now.
Give us a sense of the quantities of fuel, just from a layman's perspective.
London to York, which is against the winds and a slightly longer route, so 95 tonnes that way. This way, on a normal flight, it would be maybe 85 tonnes, so it's not a huge difference. But he would have probably put as much as he can on. Again, that was another thing we had to do. You didn't want to load the aeroplane with so much fuel that you rang the bell at the noise monitoring unit, because the heavier the aeroplane was, the less well it would perform, and the closer you would get to the noise monitoring unit. So you're looking at all those things at the planning stage, and it looks as though he's now in position on 31 left, and he's just waiting for Speedbird Concorde 2. You're cleared for takeoff.
That's what he's waiting for.
That's what he's waiting for.
Must have always been an amazing moment when you heard those words in your ears, knowing that you were going to be responsible for getting this magnificent craft into the air.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just awesome. Awesome.
Give us a sense of some of the power that's required, when we're talking about the fuel, the power that's required to get this airborne and up to the altitude in the speed that it needs to get there. I mean, what are we talking about in layman's terms?
Gosh, we've got four £35,000 turbojets with afterburner, and that it's difficult to sort of put it in layman's terms. Aviators would know what I'm talking about. £35,000. I forget what we used to use as a layman's term. You know, how many horses? Or,
but the sort of engines, the sort of propulsion is only really seen in military aircraft.
Yes, well, they were originally military engines. Rolls-Royce Olympus engines, powered Canberras and a variety of other aeroplanes, and I have to say it's been really very reliable on Concorde.
Moisture evaporates in flight, so therefore the airframe, the main structure of the plane, is actually in pretty good nick.
Well, that's right. It's well known, of course, that the skin of the aircraft heats up to nearly 130 degrees centigrade during a flight, and that has the effect of drying up all the spilled drinks of the previous flight before the aircraft lands. So yes, the airframe is in really good nick. Some of the computer equipment, of course, is analog computer equipment, and that's quite difficult to keep up to scratch. And I think somebody has just looked at the cost of keeping this aeroplane going and said, well, I'm not sure that we're going to get a return on it, quite apart from the fact that the French have withdrawn the certificate of airworthiness, so that really says
and with
says
any
goodbye to it.
older